This video will show you the sources that you can use for your English 4 paper. Like we always do when you come to the library, please go to mcacubs.com and then hover your cursor over students and go to current students, then scroll down just a little bit and click on the MCA library page. This is the library's homepage. Hover your cursor over English classes and click where it says English 4 resources. This is the English 4 page. You'll notice at the top it has 4 different types of sources that you can use for your paper. There is the Poetry for Students and Shakespeare for Students and Novels for Students in the Google Drive. I'll show you the Google Drive in just a second. Poetry people will need to come to the library to use the Masterplots books. We also have lots of just regular books, and I'll show you how to find them in Destiny, our online catalog. And then there are 2 sets of databases, the Gale databases and the EBSCO databases. So let's start with the Google Drive. You may remember the Google Drive from last year. Like I said, it has scans from Novels for Students, Shakespeare for Students, and Poetry for Students. But the most important place for poetry people to start is down here on the English 4 Masterplots list. So I created a list that has all of the poets, and it has if it's in Masterplots or if it's in Poetry for Students. Remember, you find the Poetry for Students in the Google Drive. So if I were you, I would pick poems that are both in Masterplots and Poetry for Students if I could. And if not, then I would choose ones that are just in Poetry for Students. And you'll see in a minute why I say that. But this list is very helpful for people with poetry because it can help you pick out the 3 poems that you need. So what's inside of the Google Drive? This is the best place to start if you have a poet. It's the best place to start if you have Macbeth or Hamlet. And it's the best place to start if you have Rebecca or Frankenstein. It is not the best place to start if you have Canterbury Tales or if you have Beowulf. So I'm going to pick Macbeth to show you what's inside the Google Drive and give little hints and tips along the way for the different types of topics. So you can see in here there is a scan of what would be in Shakespeare for Students. The things that you should pay attention to are the plot summary. If you have a novel, the plot summary is also very helpful, especially if you have never read the novel before, because it's really important to understand what goes on in the play or the novel to understand how to do the research. So if you have a poem, it will break it down for you line by line. And then it gives you a list of characters for the novels again as well. It's important to understand the character names for novels or plays, and actually also for Beowulf, because all of the research is done, or much of the research is done with the character names. So it's important to know who's who in your novel or your play. And then there are themes. The themes often match the topics of the paper, so that can be very helpful. Then there is some critiques like style. For example, if you have symbolism, then this might be a really helpful one for you. Or if you have imagery, that might be a helpful one for you. And then, most importantly, at the end are the critiques. And they will have a little heading that says criticism, and then it says a person's name. Like this one right here says Mary Ives Thompson and Francisco Ananca. So these are critiques that people have written about either the play or the novel or the poem. Many times students do not come all the way to the back and look at these critiques, and sometimes these are some of the best sources. Oftentimes they will come to me and say, I don't have any sources, and then I look through their information and they don't have these critiques in the back. So make sure you look at them. The little italics here will tell you what it's about, so you can get an idea if this critique is going to help you, and then you can kind of just scan through and see if it's something you want. So you can print this. In order to print it, you come up here to the file print, and then the print, you can choose your home printer if you're at home, or the library BW Pool if you come to the library, but that is basically how we print. And then in terms of citations, next to each of these documents is another document that usually says citation. And this is the citation for the general citation for, especially for all of that in the beginning stuff, like the plot summary and the character names and all of that. So this is the citation. If you use one of those critiques at the end of the article, which I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So if you use one of these critiques down here at the end, then you need to adjust the citation. And so you come to the end of the citation, and this is the author of the article. So here we have Mary Ives Thompson and Francisco Aristide Ononka. We're going to add that to the citation, and then we need to change the article title. The article title is He Says, She Says, Shakespeare's Macbeth, a Gender Personality Study. So when we come back to the citation, we would put our authors here, we would put our article title here. Everything else stays the same except for the pages. You need to adjust the pages. So when you're citing one of those critiques at the end, this needs to change and this needs to change. So that's basically what's inside of the Google Drive. I'll show you very quickly what a poetry one looks like. Here's William Blake. All the poems are in their own little folder. So here is the one for London. It looks exactly the same, except it has like a breakdown of the poem and the themes. The only one that looks different would be the Rebecca or the Frankenstein, because I've put in several articles from the LSU databases here. So these are all different articles, and then there's also novels for students. Also in the Google Drive, I had the passwords for the databases that you will need when you work from home. They're right up here. And then I also have scans of all the citation helps that are in the library. So if you ever need help citing, everything is inside the Google Drive to help you. So that's the Google Drive. Poetry people will also be using the blue master plots that you used last year if you did poetry, or if you did a short story, you also used master plots. You'll have to come up to the library to use the master plots. You will use the 8th volume, go to the author index in the back, look up your author in the index. It will have the titles of the poem, the Roman numeral will be the volume, and then it will be the pages. You'll have to make copies and you'll have to write your own citation. In terms of books, books are some of the very best topics for this paper. We have lots of books for all these topics. And if you have Beowulf or Canterbury Tales, the books are the very best place to start. So how do you find the books? You're going to use Destiny, our online catalog. Here is Destiny. You click on Archdiocese of New Orleans. Then you click on Mount Carmel Academy. You have to search by your author's name when you're looking for the books in the catalog. I'm going to use William Blake. You have to do a keyword search because you want everything about William Blake. So this is my search for William Blake. I have several top titles. How do I find what I need? So you have to open up these books. So here's Enslavement and Emancipation. So you can look up here for the description about what's in the catalog, or you can look down here. Right here it says William Blake's Visions of Daughters of Abion. Well, that is not one of the poems we write about. I just know it is. So you wouldn't even have to go get this book if it's not one of the poems that you chose. So then you can just click search results again and just keep looking through the list. I'm going to choose this one, Encyclopedia of Literary Romanticism. So this one down here tells me that William Blake is in it. If I want to find it, I need this call number, 820.9 MAU. The books are organized in number order on the cart. You can go get it from the cart. You will have to use the indexes of the books to find your information. So if you have a novel or a play or Beowulf, you are going to have to use the character names in the index. It is not going to say Revenge in Macbeth or Revenge in Hamlet. You have to use the character names. If you're researching Canterbury Tales, you have to use the tale names. You will pick 3 tales and you have to research it through the tale names. But you go get your book, find the information that you need, we make copies, and then you do your book citation. Then last, we have the databases. So in Gale, the main database to use is called Literature Resource Center. It's this one right here. I'm going to click on it. It may look different from when you used it last year because they did like a they did the interface. So in a database, you can search by character's name, title of a poem, author's name. You can search all different kinds of ways. So I'm just going to do a general search for Hamlet, just so you can see what a general search looks like. And you pull up this guide to the work, which also gives you some helps over here so that you can use that. But down here are all the sources that you need, and you need to focus on literary criticism. So you have 479 literary criticisms for Hamlet. So there's a couple of things that you can do. You can just kind of search through and look at the titles and see if that's going to help. You can come over here to subjects and look and see if the subjects are going to help, which in this case it really doesn't look like they will. You can also do an advanced search. So in advanced search, you can say keyword, for example, madness, in name of work, Hamlet, and then search that. And now I've got 19. So it's a good way to narrow it down. If it gets too narrow, you can always broaden it back out. So I'm just going to pick this one, the problematic relation between reason and emotion in Hamlet, and I can scroll through it and see if it's going to help me. Another thing that can really help is Command F. You can search the words on the page. And so if you're looking for a very specific word like Gertrude or Ophelia, you can search that as well, and it'll show you everywhere it pops up on the page. But if you like this article, you click on the Cite button. That gives you the citation, which you will copy and paste onto a Google Doc. There's your citation. You can also send it to your Google Drive, really important for a backup copy. Or if you find something and you're just like, I'm not sure if I want this, put it in your Google Drive. Just click Send to Google Drive. And then also there's the print button. So you can print your article. And then you just go back to results and you keep looking. And so that's how you use Literature Resource Center. The other one that you can use in Literature Resource Center is high school. It looks exactly the same. The other database that you can use is called EBSCO. And in EBSCO, it looks totally different from last year because they redid the entire interface. So now we're going to use Literary Reference Source Plus in EBSCO for the most part. You always need the username and password for EBSCO, which you can get from the librarians or you can get in the Google Drive. Put your username in this second box and then click Continue and put your password in. We go all the way down to the bottom. It used to be like kind of maroonish looking. Now it's this blue one with a hot air balloon. And so we're going to click on it. It looks totally different. And now we wait for EBSCO. Here it comes. So in EBSCO, just like in Gale, you can search by the title of a work. You can search by a character name. You can search by an author's name. You can search all different kinds of ways. I'm just going to put in Madness in Hamlet. And I have my results. I would then click articles and journals because that's what we need. So now I've clicked articles and journals. So I have 3. So if you look through these and you decide the mechanics of Madness in Hamlet, if that's going to help you, after you look at this little description, then you can click where it says Access Now PDF. So this will be your article on the Madness in Hamlet. Couple of things. You can download the article if you want to. This is the Cite button right here, which is where you'll get the citation. Please do not use the first citation that pops up. It is the Brazilian standard. It is in Portuguese. For some reason last year, people decided they wanted to use the citation that's in Portuguese. Do not do that. Use the arrow, scroll down till you find MLA, and now that is your citation in English. So do that. Notice there is no more print button up here in the EBSCO literature database, but you can do Command P and you can now pop up a print version to print. So just make sure you use Command P if you want to print in the EBSCO literature database. And then you can just keep going back. EBSCO also has an advanced search just like Gale that you can use. Same exact way. In EBSCO, there is also a really good database that you'll use a lot in college called Academic Search Complete. And it looks very similar. and you just can search again. If I do Madness in Hamlet, so I have a couple of resources that I can look at. Notice here, these don't say PDF or full text. That means you only have access to the abstract. So those are the only ones you can look at if it has a little box right there. But I'm just going to click right here to show you. It looks basically the same, except in Academic Search Complete, there is actually a print button that you can use. So you can download it. This is the Cite button, and you can print it in Academic Search Complete. And that's basically how to use the databases. If you have any questions or problems when you research, please come up to the library and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you.